Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Table. If you're new to the show, then we broadcast every 2 weeks, bringing you the coolest stuff from the world of tabletop gaming, including all your favorite companies and many you may never have heard of before. For our regular viewers, we have a treat for you this time around. We're going to be giving away a brand new Marauder Army box for Warpath from Mantic Games. Anyway, let's dive into the fun. Do you guys remember the cool sci-fi shows of the 60s and the 70s, where visions of the future were the color of, well, aluminium foil or white formica? Well, check out this sci-fi range from Crooked Dice Games. These guys have taken their inspiration from those heady days of retro cool and two-fisted action shows, where heroes are suave and wear crushed velvet suits, and heroines come with kung fu and killer catsuits. They even dubbed their game an entirely new genre, Spy-Fi, a much more fitting term to describe a game devoted to the psychedelic super spies and evil masterminds with hidden bases and hordes of minions. So if you guys fancy a change from the regular dark and gritty sci-fi, then why not take a chill pill, man, and check out 7TV. Our buddies over at Privateer Press are steadily releasing the models for their latest War Machine and Hordes expansions, Wrath and Domination. This month is no different, with some fantastic models for the Protectorate of Menoth and the Legion of Everblight. If you're a War Machine and Hordes player, you can keep up to date with all the latest releases from Privateer Press by visiting our War Machine and Hordes hub, or by joining in the conversation at the hub forum, where you can speak to other players, ask questions, or just hang out and find out what everybody else is playing and painting. Everyone who plays any kind of tabletop war games needs terrain, but many of us actually have little time to sit down and paint a huge terrain piece. Well, Zetardis has what it might take to rescue your game with their range of hard foam, pre-painted terrain. There's an extensive range of fantasy and historical terrain models available, including a range of generic walls, hills, and trees that are suitable for pretty much any of the genres. Most exciting are some of the cool standalone pieces and their sea of debris ranges, where you can pick up a set of ruins generic enough for gothic sci-fi or fantasy and at a really competitive price. So why not check them out, or go and get your local gaming store and see if they can order you some in. So it's finally here. The sectorial set for the French Metropolitan Force has arrived. Arguably one of the most competitive Infinity forces on the table at the moment, these Gallic soldiers are also some of the coolest Ariadna models around. But the French aren't the only releases this month. The Combined Army and Hak Islam received a new model to bulk out their existing forces, while the Yujing were graced with the alternative build of Sun Zi, this time with its fearsome multi-sniper rifle. The Mercenaries also got a box set containing the Druze Shock Team. This paves the way for the Mercenaries to become a much more rounded faction, so let's hope we see a box of Yan Yan models very soon. Well, fingers crossed. If you're a player of Warhammer Fantasy, 40k or Lord of the Rings, then you probably have some miniatures sculpted by the famous Perry twins. But did you know that Alan and Michael also do a range of historical miniatures? The 28mm plastic ranges from Perry Miniatures cover, well, Napoleonics, American Civil War and War of the Roses. But if you were good with a hobby knife and you don't mind a little disparity in your scale, you could easily convert some of these models to work with your fantasy games. Of course, if you're a historical gamer, then I have no doubt your collection is already full of these cool miniatures, including some of the metal models that can be used to represent characters, or indeed army editions like the baggage trains and specialist units. Those guys over at Cybor are well known for their range of resin miniatures, including the popular Sci-Fi Knights and of course the Lords range. However, they also produce an excellent range of precast scenic bases that can be used to mount your Cybor miniatures, or indeed any 28mm or heroic scale miniature. The latest two themes are Spartan and Dwarven ruined bases, each embellished with broken statues and foliage that can be easily painted up, with some paint and a wash, which will set them off to great effect. Of course, you could easily just spray them and use any kind of weathering effect, then glue on some basing materials. You know what? The choice is yours. And any paint job always looks better when the Mini's on a very cool base. Goblins. Like beer and pretzels, seem to be something that all fantasy gamers love in abundance. If you're one of them, then take a look at the Goblin Regiment from Mantic Games. This unsavory bunch of green monsters comes in a box of 10 and is the second of Mantic's very own Goblin range, the first offering being the Fierce Maw Beast. So if you need a mob of unruly goblins to play Kings of War or to terrorize your players in your fantasy RPG, then you know where to go for your green skin fix. If you're a fan of Mantic's sci-fi orcs for Warpath, then you're in for a treat. Beasts of War are giving away a full Mantic Marauder army box to one lucky Facebook member. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is like our Facebook page and you'll be in the running for the prize. The winner will be drawn live in our May Turn 8 show, so stay tuned for the results, and remember, if you're not in, you can't win. Let's take a look at the latest fantasy miniature releases from Reaper. If you're looking for an individual piece to embellish your army or to represent that RPG character, then Reaper, well, they're bound to have something that'll fit the bill. They produce a range of miniatures specifically for use with Pathfinder RPG, which are modelled on the lavish art that you'll find in the Pathfinder books and PDFs. However, Reaper have also released their latest boxed paint set. This time the colours are designed for use with the Heavy Gear range of models from DreamPod 9. The paint set contains 36 colours, including 32 new tones specifically created for the guys at Heavy Gear. So if you're looking to get your Heavy Gear force into fighting form, then you might want to check this new set out. Are you a fan of the games that were spawned by the works of H.P. Lovecraft? Or do you have no idea what I'm talking about? Either way, the stars are right, and we at Beasts of War have decided that the fans of Cthulhu and all of its tentacled disciples need a special place to lurk on the Beasts of War website. We'll be stocking the new Cthulhu hub with stories, adventure ideas, and all sorts of cool and sinister goings-on to help inspire your gaming in the world of H.P. Lovecraft. Dare you follow the QR code and check it out? I'll warn you, it may require a sanity test. Check out the new fully custom Flames of War bags now available from Battle Foam. Using their laser etching technology, they can now create cool new inserts emblazoned with the company badge of your favourite Flames of War force. But not only that, they can also custom cut the foam trays in your bag to specifically fit your models, meaning you need fewer trays and you can keep your collection safe and in good order. Speaking of collections, Battle Foam have also been busy this month broadening their range of foam stacking systems to help you keep track of your models. If you're like us and you have an ever-growing pile of metal and plastic soldiers, then you'll appreciate the convenience of having a place to stack them all away. So your other half, well, they don't get to complain as they begin to invade the kitchen table or any other available flat surface. Next up we have Blackwater Gulch from Gangfight Games. Blackwater Gulch is a skirmish level game where players can gather a gang of tough hombres for some rootin' tootin' shootout action. There are miniatures available for the game which are accompanied by a set of free quick start rules for those who want to give the system a try. Now we're at that point of the show where we have a look at how to play Infinity. This new video is dedicated to the use of smoke grenades. Smoke grenades are a very useful tactical element that serves to hide the advance of troops when facing enemy fire. This video will show you how they work with different game examples. Example 1. A Morlock spending one order declares the launching of a smoke grenade from her covered position as the first short skill of the order. The only foe in the area, a Deva functionary, does not have line of fire with the Morlock, so she cannot declare an automatic reaction order. The Morlock now declares her second short skill of the order, movement, through the smoke template. But this movement is now inside the line of fire of the Deva functionary, who can declare a shot in reaction.
Don't forget that in Infinity, the two parts of the order happen simultaneously with the automatic reaction order. So this kind of maneuver requires a confrontation to determine if the Morlock lands the grenade where she aims, and whether she is faster, covering her movement, than the Deva is at shooting. This is solved by a face-to-face roll of the Morlock's physique against the shot of the enemy, and this roll will both dictate whether the grenade lands successfully and whether the Morlock takes advantage of the smoke screen. If the Morlock wins the roll, the grenade is placed and she completes her movement unharmed. If the Deva wins the roll, no grenade is placed, the Morlock completes her move and the impact of the shot is resolved. If the Morlock just threw the smoke grenade without declaring any movement, she would perform a physique normal roll to land the grenade where desired. If successful, and by spending a new order, she could easily advance through the smoke template area, being sure the Deva's line of fire has been blinded. One of the characteristics of smoke grenades is that a fail on a normal roll means the smoke template is placed but scatters, while if the player loses in a face-to-face roll, then the smoke template is not placed at all. Example 2. Smoke grenades and impetuous troops. A Highlander Glaswegian is going to spend his impetuous order, which obliges him to move towards the closest enemy figure. When he is exposed to the reaction of the Assassin Lasik, he decides to declare to throw a smoke grenade as the second short skill of the order. This requires a face-to-face roll, the Highlander's physique roll against the Lasik's ballistic skill roll. Example 3. Smoke grenades facing several lines of fire. Adatsurazi declares the first short skill of its impetuous order, movement, exposing itself to the lines of fire of two enemies, a Teuton Knight and a Specialist Sergeant. So the Adatsurazi chooses to blind the Specialist Sergeant and remain exposed to the Teuton Knight's shot. In this situation, the face-to-face roll would be between the Adatsurazi and the Specialist Sergeant, while the shot of the Teuton Knight would be a normal roll. Example 4. Smoke grenades and multispectral visor level 2. A Myrmidon, in his active turn, declares to advance through the battlefield, spending the first short skill of his impetuous order. But a Zanzi and a Hassien, who have line of fire to him, both react, declaring to shoot. Now the Myrmidon declares throwing a smoke grenade as the second short skill of his impetuous order. In this situation, the Zanzi would face his ballistic skill roll with the Myrmidon's physique roll. But what happens with the Sien? The Sien is an elite troop equipped with a multispectral visor level 2, which allows him to see and shoot through the smoke. There is no possibility the smoke prevents the Sien from shooting, so his roll is not a face-to-face roll, but a normal roll. Example 5. Smoke grenades in automatic reaction orders. A scout placed in partial cover declares a shoot order against an enemy Fide. A shooting automatic reaction order, as a reaction by the Fide, would apply a lot of modifiers due to distance, cover, and the scout's camouflage special skill. However, if the Fide declares as her automatic reaction order that she will throw a smoke grenade at her feet, she will have more chances to win the face-to-face roll and avoid the scout's shot.
So that wraps it up for another 2 weeks. We'll be back soon, both on the website and with the return of our live show Turn 8, where there'll be more giveaways, chat and general Beasts of War fun. On the Table will of course be back in 2 weeks' time, and we look forward to seeing you then. So good luck with the Marauder giveaway. You have been watching On the Table.